Hi, welcome to Friday Focus. I'm Jane Smith.
And I'm Danielle Dion.
And we're excited to be here with you today. This is for Mental Health Matters, and we are talking about the power of love and 3 ways to love yourself and why it's so important. So really excited about this topic. It is so important. So the number one reason that Danielle and I came up with is that this is the way to one of the ways, you need to become aware of your thoughts and how you talk to yourself. And it's so important to love yourself, to realize how you talk to yourself. And you want to talk to yourself like a good friend would, or a lover, or someone that adores you. How do they talk to you? And that's kind of the first step.
The first step. And I remember walking down an alley last year, Jane, with my daughter, and she said, "What is the volume of your thoughts? Are you yelling at yourself? Are you softly speaking to yourself?" And it was so powerful for me. And it's stuck around because I did realize, wow, I'm hostile in some of my thoughts, just the volume. So I would never talk to my friend that way. And after that, I think I've gained a lot of skill in how I think about my thinking and how I, not just what I say to myself, but the volume, my tone, the time I spend doing that and making it deliberate. How are we communicating with ourselves, and are we even thinking about that?
Right? Most people, I believe most people aren't really aware of their thoughts. We go along in our day and it's busy, and I think we're hard on ourselves. And, and sometimes you can wake up and you go, I feel like I'm overweight and I don't look good. And it's like, you would not say that to a friend. If a friend came over and said, "Oh, I don't feel good today, I'm overweight," you'd be like, "What? You're amazing. You look beautiful." That's what you would say to a friend.
Absolutely. And to think about too, if you're thinking that way, then you're going to feel a certain way. Whoops. The fire hall. So you're going to feel a certain way, so then you'll behave a certain way, which is self-confirming, and so thinking about how we think and recognizing that we have to be a priority in our thoughts, and to do that in a way that encourages our well-being and our refueling it's a skill, and it takes practice, and it's also, there's lots of information out there and help for people. So if you're thinking in a way and you recognize hey, yeah, actually I'm saying things to myself I wouldn't say to my friend, or yeah, I'm yelling at myself, my thoughts are loud and overwhelming, then it's important to take responsibility for that and go and find ways to seek help.
Yeah, and it can truly change your day, and then each day is better. You know what I mean? It all adds up. And so if you can become aware and think, "Wow, that wasn't very nice," when I got up and looked in the mirror and said, "Oh, you look tired today." No, today's a great day. I'm healthy. I'm good. Loving yourself just as you are right now. So it starts with the thoughts. It truly does.
It starts with the thoughts, because that's next from that is a decision. So, and how many decisions? I watched a video the other day, and it was about 35,000 decisions we make in a day.
Oh,
so wow. I know. So if we're thinking in ways that are harmful, how does that affect the decisions we make? And the more decisions we make, it's exponential. One decision leads to a better decision if it's good, and on and on and on. Or the other way.
Amazing.
Power of our thought is number one by far.
Yeah. Okay. So number two, I actually like number two because and I mean, most people know this, but you're just not aware of it, I guess. And it's take care of your precious body. And this one really hit me the other day. I mean, I'm 57 years old. I trying, in my life to love myself and take care of myself. But I started doing, in the morning, I go down and I do this body flow class. Since the pandemic, I started working out in the home gym. And the other day I was doing the body flow class, and this beautiful woman, this instructor, she's from Australia, and almost gives me goosebumps thinking of the moment when she was doing this stretching, and she gets you to lean forward and hug your legs. And she said in her beautiful accent, "Take care of your precious body." And I had a moment where I looked at the screen and I thought, no one's ever told me that or said those words to me. I mean, I was raised by my parents and they loved me, and I struggled with, body image and issues, but no one ever said in that really compassionate way, take care of your precious body. And I thought, wow, like we have to. That's all we have, our body. What it's like today in this moment. Love your body and take care of it.
Wow, Jane, that was such a powerful moment for you, right? I can imagine you sitting there working out and sweating, and somebody just kind of says something, how profound, so
She just
simple.
meant it from her soul, and I know that woman takes care of her body. She knows how important it is. And I thought, I work out, but I wasn't thinking, wow, all of us need to take care of our bodies. What else do we have?
It's like your shell, it's your vehicle, it's, and also it's a struggle because so many of us self-destruct that way, right? So, what do we put in our bodies? How do we, are we doing the things that make our bodies well? And there's lots of information out there that is confusing, and how we do that and what's best for us. And again, if we are thinking in ways, we'll know what we need, right? And our bodies are precious. Like, that's such a big thing. What comes up for me is eating. What are you eating? Sleeping, sweating. Like, eat, sleep, and sweat, I would argue, are probably the most reliable ways to help our mental health.
Yeah.
The most reliable in research, what you're eating, what you're putting in your gut, what you're, refueling your system, how your sleep and how it can affect your well-being and your thoughts. And if you're actually getting a sweat, going out and sweating, not just, I got up and did a walk around the block, but actually sweating, give your body that detox. It's so powerful. And sand, the sun, I always add sand and sun to that, and salt, the salt of the earth. And so eat, sleep, sweat, salt, sand, sun. Those are the things when I think about my precious body, or, what do I need right now? My therapy is those things now. That's
and I know people have woken up this morning and they're not well. They're struggling with whether they have diseases or cancer, or they have so many things from diabetes, or they're overweight, or they wake up and they might feel like, well, they might watch this and say, well, I'm not happy with it. But it's about accepting yourself as you are today and looking in the mirror and being, I love myself. My body is precious. I can go outside and walk. I can hug my children, or like having that gratitude for where you are now, because the opposite is not liking yourself. So all you have is today. So love yourself. And if you need to make changes, eat healthier. And when we eat healthy, Danielle, do you feel like if you've had a really healthy day of eating where you've made really good choices, when you go to bed, you're like, I did so good. I ate like a salad. You feel better.
Like, I physically feel better after a salad. So I've always said that. I'm like, why? I feel like this boost of like, wow, I feel great. Yeah, it's like I love salads. I love smoothies. I love all that. But I have to say, Jane, what's really important, I think, to recognize here is this idea that a lot of what we're talking about around self-care, self-love is a huge privilege. So I remember days being a young mom, a teen mom, single, little resources, accepting money from the government, needing that, having no car, taking the bus in the snow, having 2 kids, like all of the whole like down and out story. Yeah. And there was no way I had the money to put together a smoothie. Or, my kids didn't want to eat a salad, so I didn't. My dinner was leftover pierogies, like if there was a couple, right? Like, so I recognize that self-care can often be a privilege. And it's really important that, those of us that are out there and we're thinking about love today is looking around and giving in some way that we can refuel others. And when it comes to our precious bodies, we can see it. You can see, the other mom in the lineup at the school that is, thinking her self-care is going to the bathroom alone. That's not self-care. She needs an hour to do what is inside of her, what nurtures her. And that's a big deal, I think, because there's a lot of like conversation about self-care, go have a bath, go do this, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even live in a place with a bathtub, like it's such a privilege to do kind things to your body nowadays. So yeah, and it's so important. Like
it is a privilege. I agree with you, but the one thing we all have, no matter where we are in our life, we all have our thoughts, and no one can go in our brain and tell us to think a different way. So it doesn't matter if there is someone out there that is less privileged and can't do some of the things, they still have 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and they can control those.
Absolutely.
But I guess we better move on to our third one. Our third way to love yourself is it's about being true to yourself, living your truth, and like we're all unique, and sometimes we pretend to be someone we're not, and sometimes we'll do that for love too. Like you act a certain way, but you're going against your truth. And the minute you're like, no, this is what I love. I don't like rock and roll music. I never had. I'm finally going to be like, no, I'm putting on the station I like. Or you know what? I don't like violent shows. Like with my husband and I'm like, no, I like only positive stuff. Like being true to you, and then you feel better. You're not trying to be what you think other people need you to be.
That, when I hear about that, when we were talking, what came up for me, and I tossed about it being number one, and it could still be, if I don't know if these in order, but boundaries. So know yourself. And so that goes back to your thinking, and then set boundaries.
Yeah.
Be clear on how you need to feel love, give love, and by being true to yourself is about being true to yourself in action and saying, actually, this is how it's going to look for me. And it's going to look this way. It has to look this way, or else it's not self-love. It's not caring about myself. And that way others around you can see how to love you. And when you lose love, or when people move on and there's loss, you still have you. And so for me, boundaries and being able to set limits on how I love, how others love me, that's such a big piece. Yeah.
So important. Amazing. So we're going to move to the 3 whys. So why do we need self-love? Why is it so important? And the number one why is when you love yourself, when you can fill yourself up and love yourself, your relationships will be healthier. Your relationships with your significant other, with your siblings, with your parents, with your friends. When you love yourself, you don't need the other person to fill you up. And I think about a relationship where sometimes, if you're single and you're looking for someone, you're thinking, oh, I want this man or this woman to come into my life and fill me up with all these things. Well, if you need that, if you need someone to fill you up with love, and then they break up with you, then what? They take it away. They have power. They've taken it. You need to love yourself. And so then when you enter into a relationship with someone else, you're confident, you're not needy, and you're like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I want to be with you, but I don't need you because I do love myself and I'm happy on my own. And so then there's not that loss if they leave.
I love where you're going there, right? I mean, it's such a bonus to have someone to love. It's such a bonus to have, somebody who wants to love you the way you feel love, right? And it takes knowing yourself and refueling that inside of you so that you can express that to someone so they can love you the way you want to be loved.
Yeah.
And so that relationship is the bonus. That's the cherry on the top. However, even without that, you can still be love. You can still embody love. You can love yourself. You can give love away, and never, it's all of that is yours forever. The other thing I want to just mention on this that comes up is just this responsibility, because when we think about thinking and we're responsible about how we refuel ourselves, then our bucket is full, and so we are more responsible in our relationships. It's less likely that we'll suffer like suppression. And when that happens, I think of road rage, right? So without refueling
that's on our number 2, I think.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Which we're leading to number 2, which we can talk about that now because that has to do with the road rage. But our number 2 was you can't give keep yourself full of love that you have love to give away. So it doesn't mean you have to be 100% full of love 100%. You have to replenish your love, like doing things for yourself and loving yourself every day so you have it to give away. You can't give away what you don't have. So you can explain the road rage. If there's anger in you, anger will come out. If there's love in you, love will come out. Right?
I totally agree with that. And because it's surprising, you could, see people that you've known forever and see them in a situation. And when they are struggling, you see it, like the blow, you're like, what was that? Right? Yeah. That is not who you are. We see it in children, right? I mean, they're not old enough to think about their thoughts or to do all this self-love or care or understand all of that. So everything's on that surface, bottled up and boom, boom, boom. They're not old enough developmentally to do all that and understand what's happening. So it's always on the surface. As we get older and more mature and more responsible, then we hopefully can prevent that. So it's a responsibility, a social responsibility, I would say, to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I'll tell this story quickly. I love Wayne Dyer, and there's a little story that I always remembered, and it's so powerful, and I think about it all the time when I'm out in the world. If someone does have road rage or someone says something and they react in anger, I am like, okay, they've got anger in them. And so the story kind of goes is what's inside. He talks about an orange, and when you squeeze an orange juice comes out. And nothing else can come out of an orange except orange juice. Why? Because that's what's inside the orange. You can't get apple juice. You can't get grapefruit juice. You squeeze an orange juice comes out. So for people, if we are full of love, as full as we can be, if we are compassionate and kind and grateful and loving, and we go out in the world and someone squeezes us, so someone cuts us off in traffic or someone says something or a family member hurts us or says something, when you're squeezed, compassion and love will come out because that's what's in you. But if you are angry and hurting and you are sad or whatever's in you and you go out and your sibling or your parents or your friend or a stranger squeezes you, it will come out. You will react in anger. You will react in sadness. And so now it happens when I'm aware of that. I'll go out in the world and someone will do something and I don't take it personally. I think, oh, I hope they're okay. They reacted in anger for no reason. Right. And I literally feel like compassion for them because I think, whereas before I might have been like, well, that wasn't very nice. And you could end up having issues and taking it personally, but it's not. It's what's inside them. And the one thing Wayne Dyer says is with people, you can change what's inside you. So we have the power to fill ourselves up with love.
I love that. It's hurt people, healed people, heal people, right? Yeah. So you can go out there and, I mean, these are all just choices, right? That we make, what we carry inside of us. And some people are struggling to make those choices. And I think that's where mental illness comes up, is it's hard to take care of yourself when you're stuck. And, and so you see that out there, you see people that are hurt and hurtful. And then you see this amazing folks out there who are healing others, who are giving away love, who have this abundance of gratitude and just it's overwhelming sometimes to see all of the good in the world, right? It's so beautiful. So
So, and then our third why is our final one. Why it's important to love yourself is because the longest relationship in your life is with yourself. And it's something that we need to be aware of because we don't think about it, but we are born alone. We come into this world and then we leave by ourselves. And even if you're in a really healthy marriage, and I've been married 34 years, but at some point one of us, my husband and I, will leave first, will pass away first, and you're left alone. So if you don't love yourself, what else is there? Because this is the relationship that we need to be healthy, because it's the longest. We need to love ourselves. It's the most important.
It's the most important because, like I said, we are our last goodbye. That's the only guarantee, is that you will take a breath with yourself. Your last breath will be with you. And in thinking about that, it's pretty profound to go, wow, like, we fear loneliness and being alone and dying alone, being alone in our old age, all of the things that at our age we start thinking about, and it can really take us down a rabbit hole of depression. But I think too, like, the idea of being your best friend is the truth. Like, what does it mean? And you talked about the talking to yourself and all of that. And even if you're in a long relationship, and I just got engaged, so I'm pretty excited about
Congratulations.
security, and I'm just like, Valentine's Day engagement, which I'm holding back, not gushing about, but I just did. I'm thinking about how we fear loneliness, we fear this, but the truth is, it's going to be me, and it's going to be me alone in that last breath. I'm going to know in my head, maybe I'm not able to talk at that time, maybe, so our thoughts are all preparing us for that. Almost, I feel like it's almost like a final goodbye to yourself.
And how amazing would it be if at the end of your life you were truly just grateful, and like knowing you were a good person and being like, I'm good, I loved, I'm grateful, I love myself, I'm kind, I had a good life, and that you some more peaceful. So those are our three whys. Well, we did our 3 ways and our 3 whys.
So important, Jane.
Mm-hmm. So, and then I had one quote that I thought was cool. I think I had told you, it's love is what you feel when you are in tune with who you are. And I think that's what we're all about. Love is endless. It's energy that we give out, and we give it out. We hold it. No one can make us love them. And Danielle and I had a bit of a conversation about that too, which was interesting, when people can act a certain way, but no one can take love from you. You have it to give to who you want to give freely if you want.
It's such a magnificent topic, and we could have gone all different ways, because love will take you out. It will take you out. It will rock your world, or it will make you high. So it's important that we recognize the power of love, and how much it has to do with like our peace and outer peace. So the quote that I want to come up with, and I might be not bang on here, but is with Adam Kahane. He developed a theory for social change called Power and Love. And he says that peace is at a 90-degree angle of power and love. We need both. And that includes not just in our home relationships, but in policy and everything, in government structure. We need both. With too much of one or the other is never healthy. And working with parents, I see that, right? We need both. It needs to be in the middle. And so that's kind of where I think about love and Peace 360, is just like, we need to take care of our love and how we give love. And we also have to recognize there's power, and we need power for change and for progress and jobs to get done. And we need to unify everyone too.
Yeah. So you need the balance, and you need both. Yeah. And awesome.
I love love. It's my religion.
Me too. Cheers to that. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. We wish you all to find love for yourself, and just even if you take one thing and make a change, and to love yourself, then everything will change, your relationships, and it's all a ripple effect. So cheers.
That's right.
Do you have a coffee,
Jane? Oh, here we go.
And happy Valentine's Day to the newly engaged girl.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, bye everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye.